Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name's Zenji and today we're going to be playing Timberborn. Currently we're in part 4 of our Atlantis Rising playthrough, and hey, hope you're doing well. Alright, so we last left off, we were in cycle 45 and we were finishing up some goodies in the central Atlantis part. But hey, it is cycle 45 day 6 and a bad tide is on its way. We are going to prepare for that. All the while we are experiencing a little bit of flooding. We have automated a few buildings. For example, we have this aquifer that is constantly pumping out water when it detects zero water below this point, which does cause a little bit of flooding, but it does work. We're not going to complain too much about that. Then we also have, I guess, this thing flooding over here. It's not supposed to happen. All right, so we didn't add in... This is my mistake here. When I did the edit here, I forgot to put back in dams. We'll have to fix that. Alright, this is the last stretch. We are of course going to finish up a lot of our projects. Alright, so we are busy with our expansion here in the central part of the Atlantis district. So if we go down a few... We're still trying to build upwards towards these overhangs, and it's a little tricky to get to the final tier. We've got this little system in here to traverse the inner workings, and below that we do have our bot assemblers. So finally we are at a point where we don't really have to worry about anything, so we're gonna of course put these guys on and start making some bots. And we haven't automated this part yet, but what we are going to do is, once we have enough bots, we're going to switch bot factories to bots, and then bot assemblers to bots too. So they basically end up making themselves. And yeah, we're going to continue with our progress and hopefully get a lot of our projects done before the end of cycle 60. It's cycle 45, day 10. And we've completed our first monument in the central part of Atlantis, and that is the Flame of Unity. That we are starting to produce bots, as you can see, for the first time. I know it's taken 45 odd cycles, but it's a big map and we've had other plans. But hey, we have our first bots, and as you can see, 3 of them are going to be built at once. Maybe 4, no, 3. There we'll of course put them into the bot part factories first and then switch them over to other roles. Alright, it's cycle 45, day 13, and we have about 13 days left in the bad tide. And as you can see, our first bot is almost complete. Quite a lot of detail to it, and as you can see, it has like a little cool mohawk. And yeah, it's about 80% done. Very cool. And of course we have 3 of them, so this will be the first 3 AI robots in our settlement. And we'll switch them over to the bot part factories, and then yeah, just create a continuous chain of AI controlled robots. And with that, there is our first bot. Okay, we're going to take your job now and fill up these bot part factories with bots. Make sure that they're all controlled by bots. Of course, once you unlock a building, that building will now only utilize bots. You can switch it back to, I guess, beaver workers, so the meat version. And yeah, once we've created enough bots, they will fulfill these roles. But if you do select, for example, worker, and switch them back. But for now, we're just going to keep them on bots. And then once all of these are operational, so we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bots, so 2 more, we'll start switching them over here in the bot assembler. We're going to be planning out dynamite and tunnel systems. Basically, what we do need to do is match the level over here. There it is, 1, 2, 3, 4 from this point at its highest point, so that is about 3.5 total. So we'll go 1, 2, 3 plus a dam. That is where our tunnel will need to enter at. We'll just do do this just so that we can get a visual reference of where the tile needs to be. And of course we will just bring this across. The beavers aren't going to build this, but I'm just using this as a sort of reference and guiding line. But what you first want to do is, of course, place your, I guess, tunnels. So we're going to do it just below this point so that we can add a full valve and then select the height. We're going to go 3 wide, and then what you are going to do is go all the way down to that level, and you can drag it out. Quite nice. Makes things a lot easier. And to get there, how are we going to get there? To destroy maybe of these. Right, we're going to have to create a little system here. We cannot get there. Right, we'll have to do this, that, and then maybe for the meantime we'll destroy this tank to create a pathway. It's not ideal, but it is going to work in our favor to do it like this. We'll set this to high priority, and we'll do this over here. Get all these. And that will be our system. And then what we can do is, of course, delete all of these. We don't need this. Alrighty, it's cycle 46, day 1, and the badtide just ended. And we are making some good progress in the center part of Atlantis here. We're about to finish up the last platform on the 2nd tier. And then we are trying to get to the 3rd tier with some shenanigans and basically stairs and extra platforms and then suspension bridges just to get to the next level. And I do know that we can do a, spiraling stair with a massive suspension bridge or overhang. But I feel like that just sort of feels like cheating in a way, because building infinitely downwards is kind of, I don't know, cheap. Although it does make sense for dams and levees. So, I don't know. I'm kind of up in the air on that one. But for now, we're not going to try do too much and just get these parts done. And then what we could do is build up to this platform and then move on to the next, or use some more shenanigans to get these built. And yeah, things are looking quite good. We are working on a new dam system over here. We haven't finalized the layout just yet because we do have quite a lot of tubeways that we still need to build out before we can attempt that. So first we're going to finish this section, then all the way down here and then over here. And then what we did do is we finished up our exit point here. And these are dams and not filled valves. We just thought that it would be better to have, I guess, the dams so we don't have to really manage it too much. It's just automatic. And yeah, will be good to go, I think. I think there is the water. We should see it pop through here any second now. And yeah, cycle 46, day 2. It's cycle 46, day 13, and we have finished all of our control towers. So there are 8 in total, and it looks quite cool. And I quite enjoy having a symmetrical build. This is awesome though, because it covers the entirety of Atlantis. So that means we can, of course, maximize our efficiencies of our bots in this entire area. And then what we are doing, we currently have 21 bots. We're waiting for all of the bots to be built to fulfill this holding post. So when we reach 10 workers or 10 bots, we're going to shift out everyone who's in the efficient mine to then be bots. And that way we can protect these guys' health, as there are a lot of injured beavers because of this efficient mine. All the while, we are finishing up the final platform on the 3rd level, so we still have about 90% left on that. And then our dam situation over here, we're still working on it. There's a bit of a back and forth at the moment, so of course we are also adding in these levees, which we've done now. It looks great, but for now we are going to do a platform there, sorry, a staircase, and then a platform, and then connect these two. That way we can start building out this manually, as our metal block situation is terrible because it's been used everywhere around the whole map. So we're going to stick to the manual method of building for now. Means a lot of taking the resources to the locations, and then of course building things out. So we still have all this to do, connect this section too, but we are, I think, slowly but surely also extending our farming range. We still have all of this area to cover too, so I'm sure that will come last though. Otherwise, it's a cycle 46, day 14, and it's a 16-day drought, so not too terrible. And we are almost finished here with our dynamite. Of course, once that's all done, we can blow this all up and then begin farming this land. It's cycle 46, day 16, and we finally completed the last platform. So a lot more metal now is going to be utilized around the map, seeing that we have now finished up the second and third level, respectively. We have more than 10 worker bots in our holding post. So what we are going to do is just shift down a couple levels, go to our efficient mine, and we're going to switch this out for bots. And then I think that, yeah, so they've switched from the holding post to there. Now we should have less injuries in our workforce. Alright, it's cycle 47, day 1, and we're busy finishing up the central part of Atlantis. We still have 2 more Flame of Unities to complete, and we just require a lot of metal parts for that. And then we have added all these extra advanced breeding pods. I think we'll do that as a final send-off to just sort of maximize our beaver count, see what we can get it up to. And yeah, we do have these big tribute of ingenuities, which cost a lot of metal. So we're going to have to save up a lot. As you can see, our resources are very low at the moment, or are very low. I think we're just utilizing everything we can. And yeah, we're slowly but surely building out to all our parts of the map where we've planned certain things. And I guess for now, what we can do is start blowing up some dynamites. And would you look at that? Great to see. Got one little part left over here, and then we are good to go. We can start a massive farm area, which will be quite nice. It's cycle 47, day 4, and a bad tide is on its way. But more importantly, the first tribute of ingenuity is almost finished. This will be number 1 of 4. So obviously lots more to do. Mainly just metal blocks. I think 1 doesn't have any gears. Yeah, so 1.5 do not have any gears. But yeah, we do have just another 2 metal required. So this is on very high priority. I'm sure they'll finish that up any second now. And of course, that will be a good boon for our well-being. All right, here we go. First of many. Oh, that's awesome. Okay. Actually see our power usage. 1300 is our output. 10,000 is our demand. And well-being shot up to 25. Alright, we'll build up a bit more metal blocks before we continue on to the next one. But we still have 2 more on the 3rd tier, or sorry, 2nd tier, which is the Flame of Unity. We're just requiring a bit more metal parts over there. Okay, finally, we have our little farm system set up. This is quite cool. So we have a fluid dump and obviously a little collection area, and then we've mirrored this on the other side. So pretty much we have 4 farms, and we're pretty much farming a whole bunch of canola, cassava and corn. And then I wanted to try something interesting. So what I've done is I've now added tunnels up until the center point of each one of these. And I wanted to see how it reacts to this flow of water and how sustainable it is. And if it's worthwhile trying this as a way to, I guess, provide water to farms as a sort of tunnel system. And yeah, a cheeky little way of providing irrigation. Okay, it's cycle 48, day 4, and a bad tide is on its way, so that'll be in about 2.5 days. But we've made some good progress here on the main Atlas build. We have our second tribute of ingenuity, so just 2 more to go, and I know it's overkill. I mean, if you click on this monument, you'll see that it covers basically everything. The idea is just to flex a bit and have something that's cool and symmetrical. And yeah, it's looking quite cool. I mean, we got all of our housing, excess amount of builders' huts over here. We still need to fill a couple of these roles. Mini hauling posts, and we've got trees, we've got coffee beans, we've got pretty much everything we want and need. But the next few steps will be to focus on some of the well-being items that are ground-based. So we'll have to put these, for example, on ground and not on platforms, etc. But hey, we are also about halfway through our second, I think, big dam. And yeah, we've got this double wide system. So we have a whole bunch of platforms and levees / tubeways to sort of double the, I think, the worker speed. And obviously when it comes on both sides, I guess it quadruples it, because I think the way I see it is that a beaver cannot build orders unless there's multiple spots to build. So for example, they could be building out this levee and this one and this one and this one and this platform. There's multiple, I think, jobs for each beaver, which is quite nice. And of course it has sped this up quite a bit. Usually it takes just forever, so this is a great way to do that. And then over here, our farm area. So this test did not work. I do not recommend it. Having like underground passage with water, it doesn't really work. It didn't work on this one. For some reason this one works, but we still of course need to pump water into it. So I don't know if it's based on prioritized by haulers. That could possibly be the issue there. We'll have to check. But as you can see, this is, I guess, what it looks like without being fully irrigated. And then all the way over here, we do have a whole bunch more dynamite. We'll wait to blow this up. Or of course, we'll wait for these to be ready alongside these. And as you can see, there's still quite a few bits of dynamite left. And then we will turn this into a nice big tree farm. But hey, cycle 48 and day 4. Alright, we're on cycle 49, day 27, and we're pretty much done with everything we wanted to build through this playthrough, so we are just going to neaten up a few things and tidy up the rest of the build. But we are going to go through some of the stuff we've done. So we have our farmland over here. It's going quite well. We are not really struggling with any resource in the game at the moment, besides treated planks. So that is one thing, of course, we do need to take care of. I'm just pretty much cutting all these trees so that we can start collecting those goods. And then, yeah, we do have this extra section over here where we are going to just pop these off. Oh, here goes the lag. So this is what happens when you have 479 beavers. It's just very, very laggy, so you got to be careful to run the game on a lower speed. There we go. Alright, with all this done, we could possibly add in some more tree farms over here, although it might not be necessary. Although we could have done that if we wanted to. And it's still going. Alright, so basically we've completed this whole section over here. We can essentially have this aquifer running. We do have it running, but it's just a drought at the moment. And then all the way over here, we could have had another two, which could have helped us, I guess, irrigate this whole section and create some nice farmlands. And then we're just finalizing up a couple of extra tubeways here. We don't really need all of these, so we could possibly just take these out. I think just focus on closing this off. Yeah, actually, no, we're done. It's just that those few there. And then taking a look here, we do have our finished and completed third dam. And we're just struggling to get water into it because the good tides are so short that by the time everything is drained into their respective sections, nothing's left for this last dam. And of course we have 480 beavers to supply water and goods to, so yeah, it's a little tough. Alright, but over here what we have done is we've added our wind tunnel and motivarium. So these are, you know, good for bonuses and happiness and overall well-being. We've added a few extra bits and bobs over here to try and keep them happy. And everything is nice and secured and protected for any bad tide that comes around. Alright, so in the central, I guess, hub here, we have actually completed everything. So if we go down to the industrial level, there's nothing we need to still build or work on. It's all done. If we go down even more, we can even see our network cables, how we've managed to pipe that in. We go all the way up. We have obviously our builders huts. These are going all the way up to the final tier. Yeah, we did add another 4 in and make sure these are working. So we are going to switch this one to beavers only. We do have an excess of 21 beavers, so we're going to try and keep these beavers busy. We've made sure these are all running at 10s. Switch that on. And we'll do the same here. Right, no one is unemployed at the moment. It's good to see. Well, just one. And if we keep going up, we have the final monument, which is the Earth Repopulator. Now what we are doing is we are waiting till we hit 2k metal before starting this, because I would like to switch off now the efficient bind. So the efficient bind is using way too many treated planks, and it's putting a bottleneck on that process. So once we hit 2000 metal blocks, we're going to stop the sufficient mine because we don't need metal at this point anymore. And then hopefully our treated planks will be skyrocketing through the roof, and then we can of course meet these demands. That is what we've been up to in the last couple of cycles, and I think we should be done within the next few. So let's see how this goes. We're in cycle 50, day 1, and hey, it's good to be back in a regular good tide. So of course we do need some water to fulfill it, or fill in our inner circle here, and hopefully fill up our water storage, as we are sitting at about maybe just over halfway, the 50-60% capacity at the moment. Otherwise, water situation isn't too bad, and could be manageable. Alright, it's cycle 50, day 9, and a drought has started. It is a 19-day drought. And I think with that being said, we are going to officially kick off the Earth Repopulator build. I believe we have enough resources to get this going. Of course, we are going to start that. Now, we should have enough to finish off the metal blocks. I'm going to let that run for about five more minutes, and then pretty much have the rest of that done. And then I can switch off the efficient mine and hopefully get some more treated planks in. And right now I am preparing the firework launchers. I'm trying to automate it so that you click a button and it goes off. So I'm going to figure this out, but I'm pretty sure it'll be awesome. It's cycle 51, day 1, and we're looking at our treated planks amount needed. We're sitting at about 140, 134-ish left to complete the first phase of the Earth Repopulator, and thereafter there'll be another 500. So we're almost there. But hey, it's cycle 51, day 1. Alright, we're approaching the last 1% of the Earth Repopulator Phase 1 build. And there we go. Now this is ready to go. We just need to stock it up with another 500 treated planks and 500 berries. And we are, of course, ready to then take off. But hey, while that's happening in the background, we'll let them gather those things. We're just going to do a quick run through of our journey so far. So it's cycle 51, day 3, and we're going to start over here. Pretty much our entry point to the map, our start location, and this is our starting water source, which had 3 levels, and we didn't really needed to worry about this first and second bad water levels here. We had a system in place where we could actually take care of that. So we've got impermeable floors over there. And then we diverted a lot of the good and bad water off to the side here. And then off to the side here using automation. Quite nice. So we used fill valves with relays and the knot function with a depth sensor. And there are some contamination sensors for these fill valves over here, which works quite well. And then we have a central housing district. So this was our first housing district with a bunch of barracks. We have a couple of monuments here, and yeah, pretty much gaining some well-being in this general area. We're starting deep water pumps, starting forester, and of course storage for a whole bunch of goods and resources over here, plus a lot of breeding pods. I think there's like 16 over here at this point, and that's quite a lot. And then our first catchment area, which we had to rush to get across to try and get some goods, some trees growing. This has helped us tremendously through this playthrough. And then, of course, blocking off this section has helped us so much just to consistently survive each and every drought and bad tide. Then we did move downwards over here and ventured into the Bat Cave, where we then extended it and created a nice big industrial zone and connected to the on-site map reserve tanks, which also helped us quite a bit to get through this playthrough. As you can see, this is all automated. And then we did eventually go this way and add more storage, more tree farms, treated plank tapper shacks over here, and then some more large storages. And then we kept moving along the map all the way towards our water source for our power system, which is currently overflowing. We'll just close that. And yeah, so this power output is at about 13,000. It's about 18,000 with both of these running. So there's 2 water source, I guess, blocks over here, which were set at 0 strength. We set them at normal strength, so we could just utilize this area quite nicely. A little bit of a cheat code, but you know, it just helped speed things along. And then we did add in some more farmlands over here, and eventually it sort of dried up and we shifted that off to the other side of the map. And then we also blocked off this section over here, which allowed us to, of course, gather more water and then redirect a lot of the water into the central ring where Atlantis sits. In this second inner ring, we have a lot of berry farms, a lot of tree farms, one massive dam. It's on the center left side here, which water feeds in through on this causeway and along this causeway too, as you can see right over there. And then we did add in a fill valve to sort of consistently add in water to this section to keep everything nice and green and healthy over there. And then if we take a look over this side, we connected each and every entry point with tubeways, and we dammed every entry point with levees. Unfortunately, the water did not really reach the side and could not accumulate as much. And of course, we didn't really get to see this fill up too much. And our second major dam, which we did actually prepare for, but unfortunately just not enough water able to spawn here or be collected here. I think in a future playthrough I would have connected this section to here somehow, because the water amount collected here is just amazing. So this would have been ideal. Now we have collected large amounts of ruins across the map, predominantly over on this side. This worked quite well for us. The entire center part, which had probably a few thousand metal in there. And then taking a look at our farmland area, we've optimized this section over here. Quite cool. We have all our canola, we got corn, we got cassavas, and then we did try a little experiment where we went down to the bottom layer and added in a fill gate or fill valve going inwards, and then a fluid dump. So pretty much creates a channel underground that's filled to the brim with water. And to maximize this, you just need to make sure it's prioritized by haulers so that you get constant delivery of water to make that work. But hey, it does work quite well. And the greenery is, yeah, maxed out over here. So fantastic. And then we did obviously create a giant reservoir over here, which then has a fill valve back here that is connected to this automation. When it reaches a certain height, it will then switch on and allow water to flow through from that point. And then all the way back here, we have a secret hidden mini bat cave where we got access to a geothermal vent and an ancient aquifer drill. There's a few of these spots on the map. We've also automated that so it turns on and off when it does overfill here. So that's quite nice. We did manage to add in another one over here, although at this point it was not necessary, so this is kind of redundant. And any and all plans here was just sort of not needed as the playthrough sort of ran its course. And yeah, it's a really fun map. I highly recommend anyone and all just get a chance to play it. Atlantis Rising. You'll definitely enjoy it. I know I have, and I've sunk probably a good 20-30 hours into this playthrough. But we'll have to take a look at the time map to timestamp to check that out. But yeah, if we take a look at the center part, so this is Atlantis. We have all of our water storage. So we've got canola oil, water, extract, coffee, and bad water tide, which is now empty. And then we have lots of storage on the side, so massive amounts of storage. I mean, the highest was 8,600, I believe, for iron resin, which we kind of knew was going to be an issue. And yeah, we've successfully fulfilled all of our needs on this map. And let's go down to the bottom lab. So we went right down. We brought power in from the Bat Cave. We're up a couple levels. We decided to bring it in from the Bat Cave. It was a little neater. And then bring that all the way across underneath the map, underneath the central part of Atlantis. As you can see here, that's our grid. We didn't really need to connect it all the way around. We just connected it to a few points, and that worked quite well for us. And this was our main sort of industrial zone, and that got us through a lot of the playthrough, though we had sporadic parts here and there. And mainly this was food production, a bit of planks, gears, you name it, and of course mainly the bot part factories and assemblies. So that was quite cool. And then of course we had the efficient mine, which depleted all of our treated planks. We had like we were maxed out on that at one point. So this is great, but it also has its drawbacks, which is the use of treated planks. So use that sparingly. All right, then we have the main build itself. So we have a variety of storage around the main build, which pretty much consists of medium to large warehouses, a large amount of hauling posts and builders' huts. I mean, we got 8 here and another 8 up here. Sorry, yeah, 8. And then we have tons of tubeway stations and tubeways connecting all 3 levels, which do sit on these giant metal platforms. Metal platform 5x5, and then having connecting power into intersync between every level. And of course our 3 main monuments, which was the Laborer's Monument, then we have the Flamer Unity, which consists of 4 of these, 2 Laborer Monuments, 4 Tribute of Ingenuities, which each costs about 600 horsepower to maintain. Of course we have all of that running simultaneously. Then we have 8 control towers running at 3 science per hour. We're utilizing quite a lot of science here, but it just looks so cool that we couldn't resist ourselves. And of course, we have all of our advanced breeding pods here on the 2nd tier. This was an added thing. I thought it would look quite cool. And then obviously we wanted to create some bang, so we added some firework launchers. And test that out now and see how that works with the showcase. But enough said, let's showcase our final steps in this playthrough. Alright, we're about to launch our Earth repopulator. It is nighttime. I did wait for nighttime here. So let's take a look and see how this goes. Alright, there we go, guys. Been a wonderful playthrough. Really enjoyed this, and I hope you all enjoyed it too. It's a bit of fireworks to showcase everything, and yeah, it's been great. I really enjoyed this map. I really do recommend you all take a chance and just play through it. And yeah, you don't have to play it on hard mode. I know I did, but yeah, it's quite a fun map. I think anyone would enjoy it, and yeah, gotta love the fireworks. It does cause a bit of lag. But hey, that's the playthrough. 51 cycles and of course 8 days. And just to go over the stats here. And yeah, we have finished Atlantis Refloated. So we have a flexible start option. And of course we've now finished this underneath the Iron Teeth. And our statistics are days passed, 1,261. Over 3,668 beavers born, almost 500,000 water drunk, over 4,000 tails painted, almost 200,000 trees cut, 95 chip teeth, and 143 manufactured bots, and almost 3,000 dynamite detonated. But hey, thank you again for joining, guys. I really do appreciate it. This is a bit of a long format that we have going here, but really do enjoy making these videos, and hope you enjoyed watching them. And of course, I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.